Question, does hypnosis really work? And also, can a hypnotist make you do things you don't want to do? My name is Steven. I'm a belief strategist. I'm going to answer these questions coming up. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to talk about two of the top questions I receive with regards to hypnosis. The first being, does it actually work? And the second, which is kind of ancillary to that, is, to what extent does it work? What power does a person have over the subject? Does the hypnotist have over the subject? So to answer the first question, does hypnosis work? It might be easy to explain it this way. Hypnosis, although hypnosis itself isn't a state, your brain waves during hypnosis are in a state called theta. Now, theta is actually two levels. It's the third level below what your typical consciousness is. So it starts out with beta and then goes down to alpha, theta, and then delta. And delta is pretty much when you're sleeping, when you're unconscious. So hypnosis is theta. So in that, you go through hypnosis every day, first of all, as you're going from consciousness down to sleep. But also several times a day, you will experience the state of hypnosis. Children from the ages of birth to about 6, 7, 8 are in a constant state of theta. And theta being a lower vibration, more of it's called a suggestible brainwave, where you're absorbing stuff and you're not critically evaluating, you're not censoring out, you're just accepting. It's a receptive state. Here's some examples. Have you ever been watching a movie and let's say it's a horror flick, and you're suddenly very scared? Not startled, like, oh, the cat jumps out and so you're startled, but like there is a fear, you're afraid something's going to happen. Or you're watching a sad film, a love story perhaps, and you just start crying because you're so caught up in the storyline, in the emotions of it, that you begin to cry. Well, that you are in a state of hypnosis, although a very, not a deep level, it's more of a shallow level, but you're in a state of hypnosis when that happens. What do I mean by that? Well, for instance, let's take it's a movie theater. Let's say you're sitting in a movie theater with 100 other people and you're staring at the screen and you're watching the show and you get carried away into the storyline and you begin to cry. What is happening there? Well, what is happening is your focus has narrowed so much that you actually have basically filtered out the fact that you're sitting in a giant room with 100 other strangers watching a movie, which is nothing more than a story taking place on the screen, and you consciously know that's a story, but you've filtered all that out and you've become suggestible to the fact that this is actually happening, and you get caught up in it with people standing around and you begin to cry. Okay? Let me show you an example here. Perhaps you've seen this. These are plasma balls. You've perhaps seen that before, correct? Right? A lot of little electricity generating inside of that. Now, what I'd like to say is that is your average conscious mind. In the daytime, you are basically just, your thoughts are just going crazy over and over and over again. So what happens when we do hypnosis is we simply, that's hypnosis. That's focus. Regular mind, theta mind. That's all hypnosis is. So again, when you're in a movie theater and you are watching the film, the horror film or whatever it may be, and what are you doing? You're now not focusing on the people beside you, the noises, the people chewing popcorn, the fact that this was a script, that you're watching a movie with actors and it was directed and cut. You're actually focused on the film. Boom. So that is one of the easiest ways to explain hypnosis. Now, the question comes up, how much power does a hypnotist have over the subject? And that varies. It depends on your suggestibility, how deep the hypnotist takes you. But one thing that people are afraid of that I would like to somewhat ease your mind on is a hypnotist really doesn't have power to entice you to do something that you wouldn't do outside of your regular morality. Meaning, when you're in hypnosis and we're speaking to you, you totally understand what we're saying. You are very conscious of what we're saying to you. If we were to suggest something to you that was outside of your norms, your morals, you would suddenly wake up and realize, wait, that doesn't fit. So another example is, let's say you're sitting at home and you're watching a television show and you're really into it, and all of a sudden your kids or somebody kind of steps into the room and you don't notice them, and they may say something like, hey, can I do this, or what's going on, or what are you watching, and you kind of snap out of it and you're like, oh yeah, I'm watching the show here, it's a great show, blah blah blah, or yes, you can go outside, whatever it is. So what has happened there is, again, like the movie theater, you're focused, you're in a state of hypnosis, you're intense. But when somebody walked in, you first didn't notice them, but they say something and suddenly you're able to wake up out of that and answer them. The same is true when you're in hypnosis. If I were to take you under and I were to say something to you extremely strange or bizarre, or ask you to cluck like a chicken, something you did not want to do, you would wake up out of it as you would the television show, and you would say, what? Well, what are you talking about? I would actually pull you away from hypnosis by doing that, because that wouldn't register for you. So for those of you who are afraid that somebody can say or plant suggestions inside of your mind that will go against your moral code or cause you to do things that will embarrass you or things you don't want to do, rest assured, it's very difficult to do. Through normal hypnosis, they wouldn't be able to do that. They wouldn't be able to manipulate your mind and your belief system to do that. All this is to say is that you shouldn't be afraid of hypnosis. All it is a very deep, focused, relaxed state of mind.